Okay, here's the update. From last time that I made a video, it was just the kit by itself. Nothing was done to it. So far, I did a couple of the steps different this time. I did the body work like I normally do. I sprayed it with primer only to see if I missed some spots, and it's pretty dead on. I got most of the spots pretty smooth. There's still a few pinhole little holes that I have to fix, but I'm not really too worried about that right now. So what I did was, after I finished the body work, I needed to cut the line. So what I did was I used tape, and I kind of used the old existing line from the cast, but I didn't completely use it because this was a lot thinner on this side than this side, and I wanted to make it more even, more symmetrical. So what I did was I used masking tape. I cut it about an inch, inch and a half, and then I measured it from here to here and here to here. And then I took some other masking tape and I cut it in half, and I formed the line and made sure it was perfect, or at least to my liking. And when it was, I took a pencil just in case the tape messed up. After that, I used a Dremel. I didn't completely cut through the helmet. I only made an indent, so I knew exactly where the line was. The reason why I did that was because on the last helmet I put the clasp on last. This time, as you can see, the clasps are already on here, and the reason I did that was when I paint it, it's going to be a lot easier to actually paint these while they're attached, and also I know that they fit before they're painted. I ran into the problem of when I painted these and then installed them, I didn't realize that the tension was a little too tight and it actually ripped the paint off. So this time around, I actually installed them first. There's not, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell that the helmet actually fits and closes because there's no keys yet. So as you can see, it's a little wobbly until those keys get fitted. Also, the next thing I need to do is, if you look at the line, the seam, it's not perfect. Using a Dremel doesn't make a perfect cut, because sometimes if you're not too steady, it jags up a little bit, which you can see. So all I have to do is fill that with Bondo and then smooth it out, and then the seam will be perfect. But yeah, and I also cut out the visor. What I did was, with this visor, I didn't exactly cut to the line. I gave it a couple, maybe 1/8 of an inch above the line. The reason I did that was because if you're cutting exactly to this line and you mess up, you can mess some of these teeth up, and you can't really fix that once it's done. And if you do, it's going to cause you a lot more work, and I don't have time to go back and fix that. So as you can see, like right here, that's as much as I left out. And then I took a Dremel and I put a sander wheel on it, and I actually smoothed it as much as I could, and then I hand sanded it to get the smooth finish that's actually right up to where it's supposed to be. The Dremel died before I finished the edges, but I'll get that tomorrow. The holes from the previous helmet I made the holes kind of small, and since this will actually be for cosplay and it's going to be signed and auctioned, I made the holes a little bit bigger because I wore the other helmet for about an hour to 2 hours, and if you move around too much, you can actually pass out. So I made the holes a little bit bigger, which I don't really like the holes bigger, but for all safety, I don't want someone to pass out, so I made them a little bit bigger. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did with this step. Like I said, the difference between the first helmet and this helmet is I installed the clasp on before anything else. I made sure the clasps were perfect before I even cut the helmet in half, and I like it. And also, you get to test fit it to make sure, because I use screws and I didn't use rivets. It's not always perfect, so sometimes the nice thing about me doing it now, I actually get to do the test fitting before I paint it, because when I did these fittings before I cut it in half, it was catching on one of these screws, so I literally had to actually take this off and bend it a little bit. And if you'd wait till like it's painted, you're gonna chip the paint off pretty good, and it's gonna cause more pain. So like I said, I'm not trying to make a step-by-step because I already did that. I'm just showing you different things from the first helmet to the second. Um, Realistically, all I have to do is finish up a couple of these pinholes, which the stuff I'm using is drying up inside the hole, so by tomorrow I'll put another layer in and it should be fine. And then I'll bondo the seam. Once the seam's done, it's ready for paint. What you see here is only 4 hours worth of work. So these don't take that long to do if you know what you're doing. Compared to the first helmet, that took a year. But that was my bad. That was my fault. I just got lazy and lost motivation, and then I got it back. But even when I got started this process again, it didn't take 4 hours. It took a couple weeks because I was still learning how to do it. So hopefully these videos help so you don't waste as much time or energy and money, and you can actually find out how to do it the right way the first time. So yeah, the next video will probably be the installation of the keys. This time I might actually videotape it. I'm not sure. Last time all I did was talk about what I did. The nice thing is I still had the plexiglass and I bought the epoxy, and I'm pretty sure that I could get it in one shot. So yeah, until the next video, if anyone has any comments, I still don't know anything about the GoFund yet, and so once that goes in effect, which will probably won't be until either the last video or sometime around Ranger Stop, I might make another video to actually just promote that GoFund. So it's going to go to a good cause, and it will be signed, which is pretty neat. So like I said, if there's if any questions or comments, leave them below, and I usually get back pretty quickly. So yeah, that's it for right now for step 2.